So what happens? I get hungry in the afternoon. Surprise, surprise. So, and what do? I run into sweets, eat that, or go for junk food and quick solve. And it was just not working. But the meal plan was like, it calmed everything down. All of a sudden, I need to eat 4 times a day, and I'm always surprised by the mini meal in the afternoon. Like, oh, it's already 3. Wow, nice. Okay, let's have the mini meal. And the thing is, like, these 3 first things, like 75% is like standardized. I do pretty much everything every time the same, every day the same thing.
Yeah.
So I have my shake in the morning. I have a salad for lunch with some protein, and I have an apple and almonds for the mini meal, or sometimes a berry skyr when I'm at home. And that is dialed in. I do that every day. And in the evening, it's like the variation.
Yes.
With the perfect plate. So we enjoyed it a lot. And I need to thank my wife, Susan, here, because she like supported it from the beginning. And really, we were like, wow, that's nice. It's such a nice food. So we like to do vegetables a lot, and we barbecue chicken, and we have some quinoa, whatever. So it's delicious stuff. So we don't miss anything. And so we have the standardization and the variety, and that just works.
Yes.
So that's the no think system. I don't need to think anymore. I stand up, I make my morning shake. I go for a salad. And the good thing with salad is, I mean, it's available everywhere.
Everywhere.
I can make it at home.
Yes.
Even if I have a business lunch, it's totally accepted.
Sure.
So you get a remark like, you're on the healthy side. Yeah. Obviously. And, but everybody accepts it. So it's easy.
Hey there, my friend. It's Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, and I want to welcome you back to another episode here on the Fit Father Project podcast. In just a moment, you're going to hear a conversation between myself and one of our amazing program members, Werner Miller, who is a 52-year-old father, originally born in Germany, living with his family in Switzerland. And over the last 9 months, Werner's lost over 90 pounds, and he's completely transformed his life on the deepest levels. We're not talking just losing the 90 physical pounds and getting rid of all of his visceral fat, as evidenced by the DEXA scan he just got the day before having this recording. Werner's also lost all that emotional weight, and he's making good on the promise he made to his son the day his son Sean was born, that he was going to be around for him, to be there to grow up. And Werner, this conversation is special. We have a lot of different convos here, and this is just a man who really showed up and really shared his heart about what it takes to lose the weight, the different shifts that he made, the deep congratulations he has for all of the men inside our Fit Father Brotherhood and our team who helped facilitate this. My heart is very full just having had this conversation with Werner, and I'm really excited to share this with you. And Werner used our Fit Father 30X program series. He's gone through phase 1, initially that 30-day program. He's gone through phase 2, 3, and he's now into phase 4. And he's cranking strong. He finally has a system that can keep him healthy. He's running around with his son and able to enjoy things with new energy while still keeping up with his business, his life, his wife, his family. This is a powerful story. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So let's tune in today's episode with Fit Father Werner Miller. All right, Werner. Welcome officially to the Fit Father podcast. You know, I think this is a conversation that's been in the making for some time now, because you've had quite a 9 months working with us on the FFP. So I'm so excited to hear your story and to discuss it, to unpack it. But before we get there, please introduce yourself to all the men and ladies listening to this show, a little bit about yourself, your age, your family, where you live. And I'm really excited. And we'll dive on in.
Okay, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and it's an honor. And I was looking really forward to this conversation. So my name is Werner Müller. I'm 52 years young. I'm living in Switzerland in the city of Lucerne, together with my wonderful family, which is my wife Susan and my 6-year-old boy Sean. And I guess it's pretty much as you would envision it. We are surrounded by beautiful mountains and lakes and forests. So it's a very nice place to live. As for making a living, I'm an entrepreneur. I have founded a marketing company like 7 years ago, an agency, and we're a team of 10, and we're specialized in digital brand communication, where a big part is video work. And my wife and I are running this like together, and we always joke it's like our second child. So we we love it. So that's
Nice.
a little bit about us.
That's fantastic. And tell us about how you started to make your health and your fitness a priority in your life. Like, how did you get to the point where you started looking for something like FFP? What was going on before you found us?
Yeah, maybe a little bit for context. I was never really a skinny guy. Maybe I was in my teens, but already in my 20s, I was struggling with my weight, and most of my 30s and 40s, I was obese. And I was ranging from like 220 to 260, something like that. And when it was too much, I would do the latest diet, and I lost some weight. I gained it back, on and off, up and down. So there was never really a sustainable solution. I was quite active actually, especially between like 35 and 45. We were a lot in the mountains here, hiking, touring, but still I was obese. So that proves what you always say, you can't outwork a bad diet. And it sort of escalated like in my mid-40s. I did two things. I founded my company, and a year later, Sean was born.
Yeah.
And I love both things, but they can be stressful in the beginning. And I was stressed out. I was sleep deprived. I was not taking care of my health. I would eat junk food and sweets and some beers in the evening, and working late and sleeping bad. And so this kind of stuff. And really, interestingly, it was working for a couple of years. Then in 2020, I really lost my energy. So really was sleeping all the time. And especially during the weekends in the afternoon when you would do nice stuff with your kids, I was sleeping. And I was looking for a solution really. So, and I was Googling, especially because I was over 50 then, is there something specialized? And I was looking for maybe fat loss for guys over 50, something like that. And a video came up from you, which I, by the way, love. It's called The 6 Foundations for Belly Fat Loss for Men over 50. And you tell about the sleep and the meal plan and the water, daily activity, workouts and supplements. And I was like, that is a fresh approach. So the word diet is not in there. The word cardio is not in there. And he starts to sleep. So that is really interesting. And I was looking at a couple of videos on YouTube, and it was pretty much, I will do that. And then something really interesting happened. Nothing. So I don't know why, still to this day, I wouldn't start. I just went on with my life.
Yeah.
And fast forward a year later, it was even worse. So I don't know. Sometimes I think obesity does something to our brains.
Yeah.
So I couldn't act really. And I was like, really like in a prison, so to speak. And really a year later, it was really bad. I was feeling bad on a daily basis. And I was even considering like resigning from my job as a CEO from my own company. And as I have told you, it's my second child. So that should tell you that is something.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my son was now 5. He got active. He wanted to go out and swimming and soccer and whatever have you. And I just couldn't keep up. I mean, I was so low on energy. And yeah, I thought I found this Fit Father thing. Perhaps now it's a good time to start. And I was about to sign off. And then some doubts creeped up in me. I was like, is that legit? Is it like a marketing scam? I mean, this guy claims to be a doctor and has solved fat loss for men over 40. And of course, he's also a bodybuilder, and he just looks too good. So, and I was Googling you, and I came across a lot of interviews that you have given to other health experts. And I learned for the first time about your story with your father, that you have lost your father when he was in his early 40s. And this really struck me. So it became so clear to me that I'm on the same path, like working myself to the bone and do not take care of my health. And this reminded me on the time when Sean was born, really. And that's a rather private story, but I would like to share it anyway, because then you know where I'm coming from. So when Sean was born in the clinic, they had something like called bonding. So when he was born and taken care of and fell asleep, they put us together in a nice room, comfortable, dimmed lights. I was lying on the couch. My upper body was naked, baby on my chest. And I tell you, Dr. Anthony, that was the most amazing moment of my life. I mean, I could feel the baby breathing. I could feel his heartbeat. And I'm a father. So it was overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And really in that bad moment of or low point of my health, really, I know there was not something else. I mean, as we were laying there, it was an hour or something, I started talking to the baby. So I was welcoming him into the world and introducing his family. And I made him a promise. And that's the point here. I was like, it's not easy to grow up. And it's quite a challenge to become a man and go your own way. But I will be there for you. I will support you. I will take care of you, will help you, teach you, whatever is necessary. And at the time when I was on my low point of health, I could feel that I will not be able to keep that promise. I could feel that life is losing my body, and I could really feel I'm slowly dying. And yeah, I mean, not today and not tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I would have made it to my 60s. And I just wanted to be around for that kid. And that was my turning point. I signed off, and the rest, as they say, is history.
That is a powerful story. I'm almost like tearing up a little bit, imagining you two together in that dim room and you making him that promise, and then how it comes full circle. And it's amazing how that happens. Life can go so fast when you get busy and you can lose sight of what ultimately now is a priority for you, but the health got put on the back burner. So you sign up, and now you have a little bit of the why power behind you. You're tapping into some of this emotion. What was your process like getting started on this program? What's it like when you're reading through the initial material on the nutrition, writing a mission statement, getting familiar with exercise? What's that early stage like for you as a guy who's just like, fine, I'm in, but you're stepping into the unknown at that point?
Yeah, I would say the initial phase was very critical for me because I had a lot of key learnings already. So I started out and I was expecting a high-paced program, like let's do this and that, and bam, bam, bam. And it was rather an intense setup phase, like we learn about the meal plan and the nutrition and the workouts and the mission statement. And I was like, I cannot do that in 2 hours. I need time. So I was planning 2 weeks to get into it. And I really was reading a lot, diving into it. And I heard you say, and that was the key for me at some point, 80% is nutrition. And daily activity like walking is far more important than formal workouts.
Yes.
And I was like, why shouldn't I already do that? So I followed the meal plan, not perfectly, but the meal plan. And I walked every day, like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, all of a sudden, after 3 days, my cravings were gone. Gone. And I was begging cravings. So like I had, I don't know, in 11 o'clock in the evening, oh, I need something sweet. I need this, I need that. It was gone. And then after the 2 weeks, I signed up, and then you need to measure your initial weight. And I lost already 8 pounds. And
Nice.
I was like, what? I haven't even started officially. I haven't seen a dumbbell.
Yeah.
8 pounds down. I was excited.
Yeah.
And I really got started. That was one thing. And the second thing is I pretty much immediately had a morning routine. So like measuring myself and journaling and do the walk and have the morning shake. And I really got into that, and that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing was for sure the mission statement. And obviously my son is at the core, knowing my story. But I did something interesting. I did like research what is a normal weight for me. I had no clue. And general wisdom says like with BMI it's 183.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I started at 283. That's 100 pounds. Nice challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the challenging part, which is something like I like. And then I was like, ooh, I would be in better shape than I was with 21 because I was 190 then.
Yeah.
And that kicked me something of this combination of my deep reason, which is my son, the challenge, and to be better in shape with 21.
Yeah.
That that was the wind in my sail, so to speak. And
Yeah.
I'm now in the shape that I was at 21. So it worked.
Yeah. Which I think is amazing too. At that moment, we fast forwarded 9-10 months. You're there. You've lost over 90 pounds at this point, or right around there. But like, it wasn't about that in the moment. It was just about the idea of like possibilities and getting started and generating momentum. And I love how you mentioned that you started slow and you just started walking and cleaning up your nutrition. And when your blood sugar is more regulated and you start to get a little more structure in there, the energy increases, the cravings go down. So you start to like build and stack some momentum. All right. So talk to me about like how did as your body's getting lighter, what was your relationship to exercise in the beginning phases? Like, when did you touch your first dumbbells? What was that like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a bumpy road, to be honest. I always say if a workout to me would be a couple on social media, our relationship status would be it's complicated. So now I started with the workouts, and I mean it was a disaster, right? As a lot of guys experience it like that. I was doing push-ups from my knees, renegade rows from my knees. I was started on Monday. I couldn't walk for like Friday until Friday, so it was hard. But on the other hand side, you get better pretty fast. So I was like, okay, that's working. The next week was better already. And so I saw progress, but I have two problems. The thing is, I have a very bad back. I had already troubles in my 20s. In my late 30s, I had an accident with a herniated disc. And then from time to time, it strikes me. And then I cannot walk. I cannot get up. When I'm sitting, I can hardly get out of bed. And that happened then after, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. And I needed to pause 2 weeks. I picked it up. It hit again. So I was not consistent. And therefore, I didn't make great progress. But it got better at the end of phase 2 and started to building momentum. And then phase 3 came around, and then I did the assault. And I liked that workout a lot, but the squat thrust high pull, is that correct?
Yeah.
They killed me. They just killed me. And it was not that it was hard. It made me mad. So like, I'm not able to do this. So I'm not striving for being super checked or whatever, but I want this body to function. Right? So like proper working. And I was like, I need to be better at that. And at that point, I really dived into workouts really hard. And I saw the progress, and I also changed my mindset. I need to give that to Mr. James Riley, which is a brother in the Brotherhood, also a member that started around the same time as I did. And he always said, like, you need to become comfortable with discomfort. And I like that thought because I didn't like lifting so much, really. And it was discomforting. And he always says, like, the work instills the worth. And I had a clear problem, and I needed to put in the hard work in. That became clear. And he also says, you want the workout to suck because then you know you gain something out of it. And I really, not immediately, but I learned that. And now it's really like, oh, renegade rounds, round 10. It sucks. It hurts. Nice.
Yeah.
Now we make gains.
Yes.
And this changed from like, I don't like it to maybe I'm not a super fan of it, but I do it. And it's a challenge, and you see progress, and it builds your body. You get stronger. You feel better. You are more confident. You can move your body better. So it has such a lot of benefits. And I really think when you're like over 50, it's pretty much a must to age well.
Yeah.
So, but it was not easy to start. So,
yeah, I think that's so well said. And I'm really glad that you shared that, because One, I think the important things that I want to highlight first is you get your nutrition nailed and you just start walking and moving your body and breathing through your nose. And the importance of that morning routine as that anchor that really serves you every day to start to build this momentum is essential. And then exercise, can be hard. Our bodies can hurt from old injuries. There's ways to modify things that you can still make progress in the process of doing that. It seems that the mindset changes to become the kind of like reignite your inner fire to embrace the suck or to push through. And that gives you a sense of accomplishment and personal power that I think as guys, we crave deep down. It's the same kind of thing that we get when we play sports as kids, but we can kind of reinvigorate this through the workouts and the camaraderie. That's very powerful that you shared that. Now, I want to get back to some big picture stuff because in prep for this, you sent me a document that was really powerful where you kind of laid out what you felt like was like almost like the philosophical framework of how this whole journey progressed, the different key elements that were here. And I'd love for you to speak to that. And I think it's very special that you're an entrepreneur and you're into branding and marketing and you have a particular way about thinking about things and communicating ideas. And I'd love for you to speak about what the essence of this journey was like for you, the important elements and how you've kind of captured your thoughts. Like, describe this. We'll talk about it a little bit more from that framework.
Yeah, I'm happy to do this. It starts, let's say, with the philosophy point of things. For me, it's positioned like that. FFP is a lifestyle change. It's not a diet or a program, and I'd like to think of it as a school for learning that new lifestyle because we're in the behavioral change game.
Yes.
I mean, we can all do the workouts and the meal plan, but your mindset needs to change in order to be sustainable with that. And I think mindset change is really the essence of sustainability here. And from an approach, I think it's the no think systems. So, for example, nutrition. I mean, that's such a good and powerful example. So, for me, I was hooked immediately with the meal plan. So I'm a classical office worker. I did the on-the-go meal plan, or I do the on-the-go meal plan. So I have breakfast at 7, lunch at 12, a mini meal at 3, and dinner at 7. And I mean, that is so powerful because it calmed everything down. Yeah. I mean, before I didn't like breakfast. I haven't had breakfast because I was so busy. I often haven't had lunch because I was so busy, and I never have planned a mini meal. So what happens? I get hungry in the afternoon. Surprise, surprise. So, and what do? I run into sweets, eat that, or go for junk food and quick solve. And it was just not working. But the meal plan was it calmed everything down. All of a sudden, I need to eat 4 times a day. And I'm always surprised by the mini meal in the afternoon. Oh, it's already 3. Wow, nice. Okay, let's have the mini meal. And the thing is, these 3 first things, 75% is standardized. I do pretty much everything every time the same, every day the same thing. Yeah. So I have my shake in the morning. I have a salad for lunch with some protein. Yeah. And I have an apple and almonds for the mini meal, or sometimes a berry skyr when I'm at home. And that is dialed in. I do that every day. Yeah. And in the evening, it's the variation.
Yes.
With the perfect plate. So we enjoyed it a lot. And I need to thank my wife, Susan, here, because she supported it from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And really, we were wow, that's nice. It's such a nice food. So we like to do vegetables a lot, and we barbecue chicken, and we have some quinoa or whatever. So it's delicious stuff. So we don't miss anything. Mm-hmm. And so we have the standardization and the variety, and that just works.
Yes.
So that's the no think system. I don't need to think anymore. I stand up, I make my morning shake. Yes. I go for a salad. And the good thing with salad is, it's available everywhere.
Everywhere.
I can make it at home.
Yes.
Even if I have a business lunch, it's totally accepted.
Sure.
So you get a remark you're on the healthy side. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. And, but everybody accepts it. So it's easy.
I want to pause you there because what you just laid out I really want to make sure that people listening, like Fit Fathers listening, are nodding their heads. People who haven't joined the program yet, I really want this to sink in. We have two forces when it comes to our nutrition. We have the force of we want consistency and we need variety, and we need to balance both. If they're completely consistent with no variety, we have cravings. Our life is not joyful. If we have too much variety or no consistency, we have no structure. It's amorphous. It's hard to stick to things. What really seems best is standardizing the front part of the day when we're being productive. Morning shake that works. Salad is so key because if your system is location dependent or requires specific things, it's not as robust as it could be. You and I could go to probably somewhere in China and find a McDonald's and get a chicken salad. Like this is just an extreme example, but that's just so powerful. And then you still get the variety for dinner, and your family's on board with just basically eating like non-processed foods. Half your plate is some kind of vegetable. You're adding a protein in there and all the variety there. Like, so good. Like that alone, you do that for the rest of your life. Like it's probably the biggest personal development upgrade you could possibly make just by getting those good foods in. And it takes a lot of the cognitive load off. You have a system. Beautiful. Okay. Got that. Keep on taking us through this. What else was super important?
For me, also people in the Brotherhood ask me sometimes, what did you do to lose the 90 pounds? And I'd like to think of it as 4 building blocks. So like the nutrition, then daily walking, intermittent fasting for 24 hours, and workouts. And what I found for me, I think maybe in advance, the good thing or the beauty of the Fit Father program is that, assuming you're doing that for long term and you're a Fit Father for Life member, you get a lot of tools in your toolbox, and you can combine them like you want, like it fits your individual lifestyle.
Yes.
And everybody can come up with his own solution. And what I like specifically is that the Fit Father project is not dogmatic. It just supports you. Yes. So, and you find your way. What I found is working for me is like the nutrition was dialed in like immediately. I did the walking, and that is a huge one for me. Yes. And I just did 30 to 40 minutes, like religiously every day in the morning before breakfast, and I love that thing. I mean, I can reflect on things. I come up with ideas. I can listen to your podcast. I can listen to music. I can just do nothing. It's quality time for me. So yes. It's away from business. It's away from family. And it's just my half hour in the morning. I'm in the nature. I breathe fresh air. I mean, yes. It's so good. Yeah. And it really added to my weight loss. I have seen it such a lot because when I paused it once and I ran immediately into a plotter, I added it back. Plotter was gone. And I was like, why? I mean, if you come from the old world, you think that is not really like exercise, right?
Right.
It's just walking. Why is that so important? Yeah. But for me, it works like crazy. And I mean, I had in January, February, a lot of problems with my lower back again. And I just walked and I dropped down 20 pounds. And I had yesterday a DEXA scan. It was pure fat. I didn't lose anything on my muscle mass. So walking is powerful, obviously.
Yes.
And that's the second building block. Fasting, I do that like 2 times a week for 24 hours, and then workouts, of course. But what's the key for me is like building that up in a priority. So like first nutrition, then walking, then fasting, then workouts. And obviously the best results I have when everything is in place. And end of last year, it was in place. So I dropped weight like crazy.
Yeah, but I think understanding this hierarchy and this framework like is so important, because unless you do that, you're just following a piece of paper. You're just following something that you don't quite know how it all slots into the bigger picture. And because you do, and you also understand that workouts are important, but they're like the least of those things. When you have a setback, your back does flare up, or something happens where you can't go and do fitness for some time. You're maintaining these 3 pistons that are firing, and you're still losing weight and maintaining fantastic health. So very, very, very powerful. I love how you described all of that. Talk to me about fasting a little bit more. This is something we introduce, as you know, in phase 2 of the program, after you've gone through, your 30-day experience and you've got some structure and some systems in place. Had you done fasting before, like these longer 24-hour dinner to dinner fasts? Was this something new for you? And what's your experience been like with this?
I did some longer fasts when I was in my early 20s or mid 20s. So I was a little bit familiar with that, but um, I really started pretty much in phase two. And yeah, what should I say? It was hard in the beginning. So when you're not used to it, but it goes on the other hand side surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 hours suck.
Sure. You get a little cranky, yeah.
Especially when you're coming home. When you're busy throughout the day, it's no problem. But you're coming home, you prepare some stuff for your son, you have food in your hand, like 2 hours to go.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I mean, I really have seen like, I did it then first once a week, and then in month two, I think it was, of phase two, you said, yeah, maybe if you want to speed it up, you do it twice. And I was like, twice. But it really added to my weight loss like crazy. I really can see it on my graph that I have made. It always every week cuts in, it cuts in, it cuts in, it cuts in. And there's a lot of other benefits. So like you get some clarity, sort of. So you can think clearer. You, strange enough, have, especially in the early afternoon, more energy.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. So I like it a lot, and I will do that for the rest of my life.
Right.
Maybe not twice a week, once a week.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful because I always do it on the same days of the week. So I know Tuesday is fasting, Thursday is fasting, and it's like the same thing with nutrition. It's automatically dialed in. I just do it, and you get used to it, and it works very, very well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and we get to talk about that because I think it is, when I designed the program, that was certainly one of the tools that I knew that's like I wanted to hand every guy. It's like, you got to know about this. It's such a powerful tool. For all the health benefits, weight loss aside, it happens to allow your body to release weight in a really good way. And they've done some studies showing people who restrict their calories every day, just like with a basic diet, versus these intermittent calorie big restrictions that you get through fasting. And fasting works easier on the body. The body responds to it really well. It releases a lot of weight, and you can use it for weight management. And just like anytime, you can use it as such a powerful tool. And I'm glad you've experienced those benefits. Like, our bodies are designed in this tube structure. We have this central tube. We have our spine in the tube, and it's good to give the tube a break. It's good to give the digestive system a break and allow things to move through. So I'm glad you love that. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about how your mindset has shifted as you've gotten deeper into this journey. Because what I've really seen with you, like watching your experience in the groups and what you've shared, is that at first it was a lot about you and accomplishing what you set out to do, which was that idea that I can be around for Sean and that I can lose the weight and get to the point where I'm at the weight I was when I was 21. And now I've seen you also move into this place of service, where you sharing your story in service for others has become a big part of your journey. And I think that's kind of part of the journey as well. It's like we accomplish something and we're receiving, and then we go and we re-give that same thing through our own share. The reason you're here too is sharing for this. What's it been like in this towards this back half of your journey, both in what you're experiencing with your own health and also what you experience in this community?
Yeah, the brotherhood, as we call it, this Facebook community, is for me such an essential part of my journey. And for me personal, it's like the key to sustainability, because really the brotherhood sharpened my mindset. I mean, it's so fascinating. It's a group of people with really, there is no ego. There's just encouragement and support, and you get inspired a lot. That was in the beginning important for me. So, because really, you make that mission statement. I even have put a photo from me there when I was like 40. I had a good moment and was like, I don't know, 215. And I was like, I will most likely never be able to get back to that. And now I'm 25 less white. But you don't believe it in the beginning. And then you see guys that lose the weight of a whole man and become super
Yeah.
checked and,
Yeah.
and fit. And you go like, wow, that works. So it's an inspiration, really. So you get that hope. And you get also support because we share our status. And I think the most important thing is if people share their struggles, because then you learn. And over time, for me, it was like, how do I navigate the daily pitfalls, the seasonal changes,
Yes.
holidays,
Yes.
all this kind of stuff? And I mean, we can for sure work a program, but to keep it like
Yes.
sustainable, that the brotherhood was like essential to me. I learn every day, and like you said, if you like a little bit further in the progress, I like the thought of giving back because I was helped so much by these guys, and I owe them a lot. And now I try to give back a little bit, but at the same time, it's again you're learning because I don't know. A new joiner asks, "How is that working?" And you are. That's a good question. How did I do it?
Yeah.
And you need to write it down, so you need to think about it, and
Yeah.
so it fosters in you, like, and so you learn all the time, and I love this community. It's really a group of amazing and awesome men, really.
Yeah. I agree. It's such a special thing. Like when I think about the community, it's not something, I mean, there was some intention in us creating it the way it was, but I think a lot of it was just gathering men huddled around core like-minded values of health, of family, of betterment, of fellowship. And it's amazing what a group of people can do when their hearts are clean and they're here to just like, man, to help each other do better. And it's it's a special thing. I think there's a lot of places you can find negativity and people that, it doesn't give you the supportive vibes, but this does. And it's a beautiful thing. And I know you've gotten so much value, and I know you've provided so much value to guys who are watching your journey too, which just fires me up. It's like, you get healthy, you're this lighthouse that's shining this light that's inspiring the next guy. And there's going to be another Werner that comes through and succeeds, who inspires another 10, 20. It's just math, like exploding into
Exactly.
more guys getting better, right? So that's so cool to me.
And I mean, it's so interesting because there are a lot of, let's say, veteran members that have been successful long before me. They're still there. They're still helping on a daily basis people like me, like when I was joining. And I think it's so fantastic. So they had their successes. They are already fit. I mean, I'm so impressed by all these journeys, but they're still here. They're still helping. They're still giving. So you you have the feeling of, I need to do also my part. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And what you said too is so true. We're all riding this life wave together. There is seasonality. We're going to be, for as long as we're around here, we're going to have the holidays. We're going to have ebbs and flows. And so it's like we help men develop their unique system and strengthen that, help them strengthen other men. And now we're all riding this wave together. And there may be ups and downs. There may be setbacks in the future, but it's a place where men can come to reset at any time without judgment, to recommit, to refocus, to strengthen. And I think that's awesome. All right. I want to talk about a couple different things, pivot. I want to talk about your DEXA scan, because I think it was really cool how you pegged a lot of data to this process, and you're able to see your trend line down of your weight through the different phases, and also just what happened to some of your visceral fat and the amount there. Let's tell me about why you started doing those scans and what meaning it had for you, and what happened along this journey.
Yeah, I didn't know about DEXA scans, obviously, so I had no clue at all. I learned it from the Facebook community, and the reason is can we say it's a gold standard of body composition measuring?
Yep, it's the best way to measure how much fat mass and muscle mass you have. It's the most accurate, for sure.
Yeah, and I know we all know that our scales at home are not good, and I just wanted at the end of phase 3, I wanted to know where I am. And I made my first DEXA scan in like November last year. And that was already an experience. And I did the next one yesterday. Actually, I wanted to bring you the latest numbers. And really, that guy was excited. So he was like, whatever you do, keep going. And I mean, I obviously lost that 90 pounds, but I'm also now down to a body fat percentage of 13.8. And that's, I mean, my goal was until, I don't know, May that I get under 15. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
already by 13.8. It was like, what? And there is also, that was really something that worries me, because there you can really see the visceral fat.
Yes.
And I had a lot, no, not a lot, but I had something left in November, and it's pretty much almost gone. So it's close to perfect. There's a little bit, maybe a half a pound,
Yeah.
that I need to get rid of it. And I mean, I don't know. He was like, man, it's too bad that you haven't come when you have started. I mean, that would be good.
Yeah.
But so that gives me some insurance, and that I'm on a more healthy way.
Oh
And what
yeah.
was crazy, he said, "Look, you are now in the percentile 2." And I was, what does it mean? So in your age group, in the area you're living in, 98% of men are in worse shape than you. I was like, what? It's crazy to believe, because in my inner me is still a little bit the fat guy, right? And it
Yeah.
says I'm in the last 2%. So it's crazy. And now it was quite an experience to see it is so clearly working, especially also, as I have said before, with the walking, because that was because of my lower back. That was what I was doing in January and in February, and it worked so well. Haven't lost muscle mass, just cut it out the fat. And yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I have posted FFP works like magic, really. I mean, I cannot tell it like any else.
Yeah. That is so powerful. Top 2% in your area. And like just
What?
think back to like, yeah, right. I what? And you think back to like 9 months ago, right? You almost had 100 or close to 100 pounds more on your body. Like what is amazing to me is with the right inputs, the right structure, consistency, you can make such a change within a year that you can go from having no energy and thinking about resigning as the CEO of your company because you don't know if you can do this, to being in incredible shape, top 2, by also going through challenges and largely doing walking and nutrition and fasting and mindset work. It's like, wow, it's so cool that our bodies can do this. And I'm so happy for you that you stuck with this and you brought your body through this process to show more guys possible. And the fact that you get to enjoy this body for decades into the future with your son and with your business and with your wife, it's like, wow, the gift of this is like hard to quantify, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also, of course, an emotional side. It's not only losing the weight, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have been like obese for a couple of decades, then you have not the best self-confidence, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like slowly coming back. And if I, just a year ago, it has such a lot of impact. So I felt embarrassed. I hated if somebody would take pictures from me. I hated to buy new clothes or even to join social gatherings because of remarks from people. And I just recently thought about like fat guy jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you learn to handle that when you're in that situation. But if you're hearing that for 20, 30 years, that leaves a scar in your soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no wonder I cannot really accept in my inner me currently that I'm like in the last 2%. I mean, it's just hard to wrap my head around it, and my emotion has a hard time accepting it. But it's like these things, you are so used to that embarrassment or the things others say about you. And the Fit Father program can change that. It can lift that burden of your soul and
Mm-hmm.
free you. And I think that's such an important thing, because it's
Yeah.
not just the overweight, it's the emotions that come with it. And really, I mean, you have designed such a wonderful solution that really helps us in our lives, that really has impact, not only physically, but also mentally, like emotionally. So, I mean, I love it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that too. And I would say what I would describe that combination of things is spiritual healing too, in a sense, like these deep grooves and impressions into our own self love that come because of things we've accepted, and we're creating a new reality for ourselves. And it can take time to change, but settle in, buddy, because you have a lot of life in this new, healthy, vibrant body to enjoy. And congratulations again from the bottom of my heart for like going through this and all the healing. The emotional pounds dropped, the physical pounds dropped, and the new you that you're creating. This is why I think to express as powerfully as we can here, as whatever we're here to do, we must be aligned mentally, emotionally, physically, and ultimately I think that leads to a spiritual alignment. And this is a process that's working on all of those levels. It must, because if it doesn't, it's some kind of quick fix. It's like it has to operate on the deepest levels of our psyche, our being, and what you said, the soul too. That's really powerful. Now I want to transition.
And it has a lot of impact. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm pausing. You go, please.
Okay. Now, you just mentioned the other areas of life, and I think that is so important. I mean, for me, the FFP is so much more than weight loss and fitness, because it has so much impact on our lives. And I mean, I'm now an active father again. I never have been because I was too tired. And it's right about in time, so to speak. And I have a happy kid now. So you impacting with the program my family. And I mean, it was so obvious to me in the holidays. We have been on a Spanish island, and I was there already like 3 years earlier, and I was sleeping all the time. No, we went to the beach and built sand castles and go swimming and soccer, and we did the sun is already going on. Too bad. So really, the energy is back, and my son loves it. And he also likes small things. We always have a chase game, like when I pick him up from kindergarten, and I have just his laughing in my ears. That's the pure joy of a child doing stupid things with a father.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that a year ago. And I mean, also, like, he has learned swimming because I would never go because I was embarrassed. I wanted to take my shirt off. Now we do. So he has learned swimming. And not only that, he lost totally the fear of water. He jumps in and has fun. And so my son can swim because of you, Dr. Anthony. How cool is that?
I would say because of you. I appreciate that, but truly, it's because of this transformation, right? Wow. And the ripple of that, like what happens in his life because he's having these early experiences and impressions. I mean, those are the positive grooves in Sean's mind that are setting him up for a life filled with the expectation of energy, success, joy, family, adventure. Like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, it has so many impact also. It enables me to lead by example, so to speak. We never do something, but it was just in January. It was so funny. So when he has a long day in kindergarten, he's like allowed to have an hour of Disney stuff at the TV. I was working out. All of a sudden, I hear switching off the TV. Bam! He storms into my room, rips off his shirt, grabs a dumbbell, a little one, and works out. Dr. Anthony, I tell you, as a father, it can't get any better.
Oh, that is incredible.
It's amazing. I haven't said a word. I mean, it was just great. I mean, no, I think all that stuff that we call NSVs, right? So the non-scale victories, that is so powerful. Because also my family life has improved. We're now cooking together in the evening and having quality time, talking. And my wife, by the way, lost 20 pounds just by adopting the perfect plate.
Nice.
What? I mean, just by the dinner. And I mean, really, it helps in other areas of the life. And I think it's also the idea of becoming whole again. It was where you were talking about. And I mean, in the phase 4, we have these life assessment wheels What is it? Life.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a life wheel.
And what I found out is that my life is rather balanced. It's good. So it's really even on a high level in the separate things. But it was with one big exception, my health.
Yeah.
And then everything else becomes worthless because I cannot enjoy it. I cannot live it. I have not the energy, whatever would have happened with my bad health. So whatever you do, whatever you try to build without health, it's worthless.
Yeah.
And I needed to learn it obviously the hard way. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did, that you enabled me to do so.
Yeah, that was so perfectly said. And I was going to ask you what it means to be a fit father, but I think that's exactly what you just said. It is all of that. It is all of that. It's all these areas of life. It's being able to be with your kids with energy and experience. It's alignment and wholeness. It's all of that. So I want to, in closing, I'd love for you to share some words of encouragement and words of wisdom to the guys in our brotherhood and to guys who are maybe in the early stages of this thing, who are listening to this now and drawing inspiration from you, like you have from so many men who've come before you. I'd love you to share some final words of wisdom as we wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, especially for guys that are heavier, like I was myself 9 months ago, FFP for me means hope. So you can change it. No matter in what bad shape you are currently, you can do this. And I mean, I'm obviously a proof of it. So many others are. FFP works, and it even works like a magic if you follow just the guidelines. So I think that is a powerful stuff. It's hope. It's because really, as I said before, you don't have the best self-confidence when you're in like that state. But FFP can help you really. Just keep going, and that perhaps is a core thing, because we all have setbacks. We all fail. We all mess things up. And I think one core thing that I learned there is just to get back at it the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, does it count in a year if I have friends over and I go crazy with alcohol and mess my nutrition up? No. Does it matter if I have every day a good nutrition and work out every week? Yes. So, I mean, it's the consistency and not the perfection. And I think a lot of us tend to, including myself, try to be perfect, but it's not necessary. Just go on and on and on and on and be consistent with that. And I think what's hard to start with, because I experienced that myself, is patience. I mean, you see early successes, but then you look desperately on that scale and go, oh, it doesn't work. It goes even up. I mean, I had fasting days where the scale would go up, and I was like, man. And that patience is really, that's a hard part, I would say, because also I took photos every week, and I was like, I'm not changing at all. But you need to be patient. So, like, think long term. What can you do in 6 months, in 9 months, in a year from now? And I mean, it's fair. We messed up that thing in for decades. We needed decades to get to that low point of health. If we invest a year, it's an absolutely fair deal, right? And you can be on a completely different path. And ultimately, I think it brings back the quality of life. And that's pretty much the core of it. We can enjoy life again. It enables us to take care of that what matters most to us. For me, it's my family. For other guys, it's different things. But it really empowers us to live and enjoy this life. And what else can you ask for? I mean,
it was perfectly said again, my friend. From our entire team, thank you for being a fit father. Thank you for walking this path and changing your life. It brings me the deepest joy. And I didn't expect this joy when I designed this program. I was just obsessed with designing something that would work for guys. And I didn't know that the payment I would receive at the end of this is being able to look a man like you in the eyes and to say, thank you for using this program, and deeply congratulations to you and your family. It means more to me than I can maybe even communicate, but I hope you can see it in my eyes and hear it in my voice. I am so glad that we got connected on this life journey, that you're here as a part of our community, and that you're walking this path. And I hope that you continue to, and you just affect so many lives in your local area with your family. I'm thinking about Sean's future right now, knowing that he has a dad that is walking the walk without saying a word, but saying everything. Like, my heart is full. Thank you, Werner. So much for coming on today.
I also want to thank you. I mean, or maybe a couple of guys, my wife, especially, because she has supported my journey from the beginning. Your support team, these guys are amazing. I mean, really, the guys that I have had personal contact with, like Kat or Ben or Craig, I mean, they are really awesome. I mean, just a small story. I was in phase 2, I think, somewhere, and I lost a little bit of weight, and I needed to go on holiday to Bavaria. I mean, home of Oktoberfest, of beer, of heavy food, delicious, but really unhealthy. And I was in panic. And I emailed Kat, and she helped me so much. And I mean, it was the first holidays properly in my life when I came back with less weight. And it worked amazing. So well. So these guys are amazing. I want to thank also the Brotherhood. Really, I owe you a lot. I mean, I wouldn't be there without you, for sure. And you changed my mindset, and you helped me, you inspired me. So thank you very much. And of course, I also want to thank you, Dr. Anthony. I mean, my world is upside down. And I have a completely new life now. And my deep wish that I can be around for my son is now much more likely. He has now an active father. And you touched the life of my family. And there is a fair chance that you even have saved my life. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. It's been my greatest privilege.